Alright, so in order to study, this video is going to be based on my ways that I used in order to study for my economics class this year, and some study skills that I hope you guys will be able to use in your daily classes for economics especially. And this is going to be based off of the Economics Live, The Power to Choose. First of all, what I did was make a folder, Econ 14th, 10th grade. This will become your best friend. Just try to keep everything organized and keep basically everything that your teacher gives you, mainly tests, quizzes. I don't know if your teachers might do this, they might not. Notebook questions. Basically, you have information and vocabulary terms that you type down on your computer and keep in a nice paper. You can also write them down, and writing is actually a better idea, I think, because it helps you retain the information more. But what I did, because I like to type, I typed my information and I used upper cases, as you can see in these, and I did that to all of them in order to help me retain the information. At least when I look at the vocabulary word, I know, when I see this word, I have to think this. Why? Because of the and then I read the definition, of course. But I have one for every section of the Econ Alive book, and I keep them all together in this package that I like to keep. And making everything neat helps you just stay organized for when it comes to midterms, finals. Another thing that you are able to do, or you can do, which is really helpful, is take notes on whatever you do, and it doesn't have to be as detailed as this. I try to fit everything in the page, but as you can see here, I have the disadvantages and the advantages, and basically what they mean. In this paper, I wrote some of the key words and their definitions, because if you don't know the words, the vocabulary terms, you basically don't know anything about the topic. You'll have just some brief information that won't be really helpful. Anyways, I took notes, and then I try to make it as neat as possible, so when it came to studying, I could review these. So this is going to be my bestie when it comes to studying. Like I said, keep your tests, review your notes, try highlighting vocabulary words, terms that you don't know. It might not be mandatory for everyone, but if you read newsletters, it is a great way to review some of the information of basically your understanding, because now that you know the vocabulary terms, you're able to take it into matters which can be more personal and extraordinary out to your world. Just keep everything you have. Try to make it more you. And when I say more you, just try to make it personal. Look at pictures on your phone and try to connect it with the terms that you've learned. Here I'm getting out my phone, and basically anything that you have, any single picture you can relate to economics. You just have to find your own way of doing it. Right here you're able to see Baskin-Robbins. I used to work at Baskin-Robbins, and once another location opened up, it was an ice cream place. And well, in chapter 7 of this book, which is the market structures and the market failures, I was able to make connections. So, a market, this is the definition for perfect competition, a market structure in which many producers supply the identical product. This is the most efficient structure, and the price is set by the supply and demand. So, the demand of how many people want it will satisfy both places, but once a new place comes in, starts trying to make competition, it becomes a little iffy on who's going to get it more. Depends where the demand is. And if there's not much demand, then the prices are going to have to lower in order to try to increase the demand. Supply is also very important, along with demand. And this is just any section in the book. Apparently, I opened up to Chapter 7, the market structures and failures. There's a section called Speaking of Economics, which is the main vocabulary words that you're going to need in the section. Try to review those the first thing that you do. So here we have market structure, perfect competition, monopoly, oligopoly, monopolistic competition, market failures, externality, public goods. Review them. If you don't really understand the definitions, try to make it into your own words. You can have try to make your vocabulary in terms that you understand, because if you do not, then you'll just be confused, and that's not good when it comes to studying. In the book, you will see headings, bold print words that are very important. Let's just try to review those. It may seem like a lot of reading you have to do, but it is basically the key thing in order to doing your homework or before you take a test. So try to study those. We've talked about highlighting, reviewing notes, keeping tests, keeping notes, and connecting it to your daily life, because that is what helps the most. Let's not forget about trying to make projects. It could be for the class. You might get extra credit, you might not. It's just a way to help your peers out. You can make a project and explain the topic, chapter 7, chapter 8, doesn't really matter, anything that you're learning on, and try to make it a little bit more visual, more fun. If you do things, I like to act and play around, sing songs. For me, singing songs helps me a lot in order to retain my information. So when I have to study my vocabulary words, I'll be like da 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 da, and try to make it into a song, a rhythm that I can remember. And when I see the words, I know it like that. So just try to do everything you can in order to study the words. Make flashcards, review them constantly. Make sure to keep your papers in a nice stack. I know this isn't the neatest, but it's a folder retaining my information and about economics, and I'll eventually move it into a folder and make it a lot neater than it is now. Separating tests, quizzes, all that stuff. Basically, everything that you have taken notes on, taken tests on, everything like that, just keep it. It's eventually going to be somewhere in any of your tests. So it's helpful for the finals and for the midterms, whichever. So it's very important to know. It helps you have a basic information about when you can be a little bit older and how things work in the economy. And it's very important. It helps you understand more about what you see in the news or hear about in the news. It's very important. And another thing is make little pamphlets, make little notes, try to review your words, make a video. I remember my group project was in order to sustain or make a job and make something that could become a job. And basically we made a YouTube video in order to make it more fun and entertaining. I believe that if you make things a little bit more joyful than just reading a textbook, then you'll be able to retain the information and learn the idea of what it takes in order to run a business. So that is very important, and I hope you liked this video. I hope it'll help you in some way. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I know it helped me. Remember, your highlighter, your test, your quizzes, your vocabulary, review of your vocabulary, your book. Just review everything. Don't try to slack off. Do things last minute. Don't be on your phone during class. Try to take notes. Try not to space out. So most times people do that, but just try not to do that. Keep your mind in task, because you will have some information. When your teacher repeats or emphasizes or tells you to write things down, write it down. She's doing this for your benefit. She's trying to help you out. It might be on a test quiz later on in the future, but as you know, just try to review constantly. It doesn't have to be every single day, but at least once a week, twice a week, doesn't really matter. But you have to be reviewing, because if not, if you study last minute, all these notes and all these textbooks, it's not going to work out for you. The faster that you're trying to squish everything in, you're not going to be able to retain it. So just do yourself a favor, try to study the information, ask questions, make a song, do anything you can in order to remember the information, retain the information, try to make it more personal. Anyways, I hope you like this video, and just study hard, get good grades, and that'll set you up. Thank you. Bye-bye.